high spots and low shots. You know what? To me, I'm gonna say that my low shot is Jack Swagger. Tries to really get a win over Rollins. Seemed like he was coming close, but he was a victim of tight grabbing on the part of Rollins. And then after the match, which I didn't mention in the initial review, Randy Orton comes in and RKO's Swagger to really make a statement. So, yeah, Swagger's momentum continues to be on the decline, it seems, and just not a good night for the real American.
No, not at all. I think my low shot is, well, I think it's going to be Sheamus, because he pretty much dominated his entire match, but he still ended up losing because he let his temper get the best of him.
I think that's perfectly said. He did let his temper get the best of him, taking his aggression out on Mizdow, which allowed the actual
Actually,
Miz to
no.
capitalize.
My low shot is title holders in the WWE. Get this, John. You're going to love this. Brock Lesnar didn't show up. Paige lost in a tag team match. Sheamus lost by DQ. Dolph Ziggler lost clean. And the tag team champions didn't win in a triple threat match. Or no, they got pinned.
Yeah.
So my low shot is champions in the WWE, because all 5 of them were either not there or lost.
And not only did the tag champions get pinned, they got pinned by people who can't even really get along, and were only teaming for that one night.
And aren't even going to challenge them. They just got straight up beat down.
Yeah, as opposed to the Usos, who actually have the beef with them and everything else. So I find that funny. That's a great point, Ashton. I love your low shot. That's what I call creativity. So big ups to you. My high spot, this was a bit more difficult for me, but you know what? I'm going to say Randy Orton. And here's why. One, he has a 20-plus minute encounter with Dolph Ziggler, which he wins cleanly as opposed to his maybe soon-to-be adversary, Seth Rollins, who had to cheat to win his match. And on top of that, Randy Orton took initiative. He said, look, I see what's going on around me with Rollins, Ambrose, and Cena, and, I want in on this. I want a match at Hell in a Cell. So Randy Orton, in a lot of ways tonight, took matters into his own hands, and I really, really like that. So I think Randy Orton's going to be my high spot.
I have 2 high spots tonight. It's a dual high spot.
Excellent. Let's hear them.
High spot number 1, this is the obvious one, Dean Ambrose. I'm surprised you didn't use him.
Yeah, Ambrose had a terrific night, but I wanted to be a bit different from my high, because I feel like I've really been giving it a lot to Ambrose lately.
Ambrose was the only person to win 2 matches tonight.
That's true.
And to me, the even bigger news than, well, there's a lot more bigger news than that. First of all, he's got Rollins in the Hell in a Cell. That's huge.
Yeah.
And second of all, and this is more like long-term kind of good news, they called his double underhook DDT Dirty Deeds tonight. That means it's his finisher now. I freaking love it. It's so much better than the headlock driver.
My problem with the headlock driver is actually what a lot of people's problem was with Morrison Starship Pain. There are some times where it looks beautiful, but other times it looks just like,
It depends a lot on the guy selling it.
Exactly. But
whereas with this double underhook DDT, the guy that doesn't sell it as well is still going to look dead. Whereas the guy that does sell it well is going to look like they died 5 times over and need a freaking ambulance.
Yeah, it's really a brilliant way around that problem. And plus, again, it's like an homage to Jake the Snake Roberts, Mick Foley, all that stuff, which just personality-wise are
plus,
so
it's got the kick to the gut setup, so it's more out of nowhere, too.
Exactly. So it's really in line with all the great personalities that seem to be like Ambrose's, again, the Jake Roberts and Mick Foley's. If you want to take the kick to the gut, which Ashton has mentioned in the past, you could even go as far as say Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
So it's just brilliant all around. That's an excellent observation. And I didn't even think about Ambrose winning 2 matches in one night. But I really like your high spot. I'm glad you took it for that reason, because I think for the past 2 weeks.
But remember, I have a dual high spot tonight.
Oh, that's right. Who was your other high spot? I'm sorry.
Rusev.
Yes!
Because he got 2-on-1 beat up, but that, to me, makes him more sympathetic. And before that, he had the Big Show beat. He got distracted. He took care of the distraction, and then he had Big Show beat a second time. And he still had to win by disqualification because Mark Henry attacked him.
Yeah, I've been loving the booking of Rusev for the most part.
That's why, earlier on when you said, I was almost going to make it the heat of the night that Rusev got made to look so weak, I was like, what? He looked so done. He beat the Big Show twice.
Yeah, and that's why I said, but then, like later on, he did dominate and all that stuff. Because, yeah, I've really come to really appreciate how they've been booking Rusev, especially lately. Even when he gets himself DQ'd, I just feel like, well, he's a heel, so it's to be expected. And I love how commentary really emphasizes, well, he's still never been pinned and he's still never submitted. So, yeah, Ashton, really great high spots all around.
You know what's a real shame, though, is that John Cena is going to end up being the one to do it.
Let's not even have that conversation right now, because I know you're right. It's just I really don't want to think about it right now because I'm loving what Rusev's doing, and I don't even want to think about the inevitable pitfall we're all going to.
Isn't it just a shame, though, that the WWE finally decides they want to book a heel properly, and they're only doing it for the payoff to get John Cena even more babyface cred?
Yeah, John Cena, a man who's been struggling his whole career and who really needed this win. I mean, he lost to The Rock once, Ashton. I mean, come on, how much more shit is this guy going to eat?
I mean, he lost to Brock Lesnar once too.
I know. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. How this man isn't a 20-time world champion is beyond me.
He's such a promising young talent. You would think they would start putting him over more.
You know, he spent all that time in NXT. I mean, what a waste. Jesus.
No, it was OVW back then.
Oh, well, still. I mean, guy's paid his dues. Let's give him.
And he spent a whole year there. I mean, come on.
I know. It's unbelievable. Great choices by you all around. The only reason I think I didn't pick Ambrose, and I love your reason behind it, I think I've picked him for 2 weeks straight leading up to this. So I'm actually glad.
Well, yeah, but how much of a statement would it have made if you had picked him for 3 weeks straight?
I know, right? And he does. He really does deserve. I mean, your reasoning is beyond that, but I just really dug how Orton carried himself on this Raw. So I love.
I like that we got to include Orton in our high spot collectively, though, because he is so hot right now from a just crowd reaction standpoint. Like, he is going to be such a big babyface when they turn him again. Like, I never understand why people beg so much for Orton to be a heel. He's such a good babyface.
Well, apparently Orton begs for it as well, which is
I know, and that's like, I don't get it. Maybe it's because he doesn't like the publicity that comes with being a babyface, and like, he doesn't want to have to put on that fake smile and sign autographs and stuff for fans, and he kind of just likes being able to be to himself, and that's understandable. But from a business point of view, man, he is such a good babyface.
Dude, it really, to me, and I don't want to droll.
To me, he's a better babyface than Cena.
Oh, without question, dude. To me, this is like, and I don't want to droll too long about it, but this is like 2009 all over again for me when the dissolution of Legacy was about to start and people were really getting behind Orton because he just hit that RKO out of nowhere. He had great RKOs.
And that's the crazy thing, too. It feels like all of Orton's turns are natural.
Yeah.
Anytime he turns, it feels like the crowd was leaning towards that way anyway. Like, when he's a heel, the crowd starts cheering for him, and it's building, and then he turns face. And when he's a face, the cheers start to kind of simmer, and the reaction starts to get down, and he kind of starts to not pop the smarter crowds as much, and then he turns heel. Like, it's all so natural with him. I love it.
It really is. Yeah. Actually, now that you really put it in that context and so succinctly, I would even go as far as say that maybe he's one of the most natural performers in that regard that we've ever seen, because it's never really felt contrived or forced. Which, yeah, I really dig about Orton. So, yeah, face are definitely on the horizon. And if that's the case, a feud between him and Rollins, yes, please. So with that said, we've both done our high spots and low shots. Now it's time for Raw Request. You guys already kind of know my Raw requests. Do not botch the payoff of these Wyatt family segments. Again, I don't want to drone on too long about it, but I think you have a very unique opportunity here. You're making them look menacing. You're making them look like, again, I don't want to be like that guy reading too much and everything like I was with the second day of 2012 promos for Jericho, but I really do look at the pregnant woman as either Sister Abigail birthing a new evil, or just the rebirth of the Wyatt family in general and them getting a fresh start. Whatever the case is, don't screw this up. This is one of the best acts you have on your product, and I feel like it still has so much mileage to give. So I'm very much looking forward to what these guys have to do, especially Harper and Bray from a single standpoint. Let's get it done, boys. Let's kill some people. Let's get it done.
Absolutely.
What's your Raw request?
My Raw request, actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it simple this time. My Raw request is to stop starting your main event match within 5 minutes of the end of the hour so that we don't buy into the fact that it's going to have shenanigans every time.
Yeah,
Or maybe just start having your main event matches end without shenanigans would be a nice idea. One of the two. I'll let the WWE pick which one of those is my official heat of the night, but one of our official Raw request, but one of them's going to be.
I agree completely with both. I would love to see a main event just end cleanly for a change, no shenanigans whatsoever. But I feel like it'll be a while before we see that again. But yeah, both of your role requests really have a ton of merit. I would sign on to either one of those. So with that said, I've got nothing else to say. I'm assuming you don't either. We can move on to our last segment, 30-second hot seat. And you know what? Bring it on. So let's just do it. What's your 30-second hot seat this week?
My 30-second hot seat is with the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view card being pretty much set in stone. We're going to get Sheamus, Miz, Ziggler, most likely Cesaro, Usos, Gold Star, Cena, Orton, Rollins, Ambrose, the standard. What going into Survivor Series, what kind of programs do you think are going to set up? This is a very open-ended question because I don't feel like asking super specific stuff right now, but what exactly do you think that our card for Survivor Series is going to look like? I'm not asking you to come up with every match. I'm just asking you to kind of give me an idea. Like if you think that Bad News Barrett's going to return, what's he going to do? If you think, what do you think is going to be going on for Survivor Series? Because I feel like there's not really anything getting telegraphed so far. So you have 30 seconds and your time starts now.
Well, Ashton, this is incredibly difficult for me, but to give you the cleanest answer I can give, I think we're going to see a continuation from the two Hell in a Cell matches, Orton, Cena, Ambrose, Rollins, at Survivor Series in the form of traditional Survivor Series matches. I think we're going to see Team Ambrose versus Team Rollins and Team Cena versus Team Orton, which I think is really going to obstruct the mid-card pictures because I can see both champions and their respective contenders being a part of some of these teams. The only real championship match I can see is Gold Star versus the Usos again, and they may even be thrown into a Survivor Series team, but I think it's going to be very heavy on the traditional tag matches this year. It's the best answer I can give.
Okay, well, we that was 35 seconds, but it's not a big deal. But let me ask you this: well, why wouldn't you think that we're just going to have Ambrose and Cena on the same team against a team consisting of both Orton and Rollins rather than separate matches?
And that very well could happen. In fact, I like that alternative better because it's a lot cleaner, and I think it frees up a lot more talents that way rather than doing two tag team matches.
Because I could see Orton, Rollins, Kane, and Gold Star versus Ambrose, Cena, the Usos, and I don't know, maybe Ziggler or something like that. Someone like that. I don't know.
Right.
But like that to me, that's a nice clean cut match that doesn't really need to get any big names involved, and it just kind of like doesn't really matter. That to me, that's a WWE style Survivor Series match. That's something that they would go for.
And I think that could actually very easily be the main event, because the only reason I tried thinking that way, Ash, is because I have read the reports that we're not going to see Lesnar again defending the belt until January at Royal Rumble. So it's going to be quite a long wait considering that he's the world champion, and I've heard he's going to be defending it against Cena. Insert your groans here because I don't blame you. So yeah, I could very easily see that being the Survivor Series main event. Interested to see what the mid-card will do, primarily again, the Sheamuses, the Rusevs, the Cesaros, the Zigglers. So we'll see where they all fit. But yeah, Survivor Series is going to be an intriguing pay-per-view next month because I think you were dead on with your opening sentiment that you really can't telegraph anything right now. So I'm curious what will unfold.
All right. This was a relatively quick episode of Raw Twitwow. Normally we get closer to 2 hours, and I think this only went on for like an hour 20. So unless you have anything else to add, bro, you can wrap this baby up.
No, absolutely not. This has been Raw. This has been Twitwow, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Discuss on Pletov. What are you thinking of the close to finalized Hell in a Cell card? Are you as stoked for Ambrose vs. Rollins inside Hell in a Cell as we are? And we will see you again for our NXT review, where, to be honest, I have nothing to preface the show, but you know it's going to be amazing, so be here to join us.